Ethereum. So Vitalik Buterin has come out with a proposal for how Ethereum's layer 1 is going to change and shift. This is quite a recent thing. There's a lot of news articles on it. So we're going to take a look at what's been said, where Ethereum's at right now and what can happen this year. Now, before I get into any of that, if you are new here, this spreadsheet shows the first 26 coins that I actually did videos about on the channel. In the videos, I show myself buying up all of these cryptos. These were cryptos that I thought were going to do very, very well and make a lot of money, which is why I bought them. And you can see what they were worth when I recorded my videos. These are the highs these cryptos went on and hit, and these are the prices, the profits rather, that you'd have made if you'd have popped $100 into them. So 100 into each in that time would have made you over 123 grand. Now, it took around about 15, 16 months. You don't have that long. We're in a bull cycle right now. So if you're sitting on cryptos you're really not happy with, have a look at copymycrypto.com. That's the site I run where I share every single coin I own with my members. So when I'm ready to buy or sell a coin, I tell my members about the crypto that I'm going to be buying or selling and the price that I'm going to be buying or selling at. This means my members get in and out of coins at the same price as me, so they make the same profit, and they don't have any work to do at all. And if you go onto my site, you'll see some of the profits my members have made. You'll see some of my past successes. These are all public record. If you go onto the old videos on this channel, you'll be able to verify everything that you read, that you watch, that you see. And if after doing that, you like what you see and you want to hear more, whether it's the daily market updates I give my members or simply you want to know the coins I'm in, the ones I think are going to be the winners of this cycle, like I predicted with all of these. All you've got to do to find out about the coins I own is join up on the site. Now, Ethereum. So Ethereum is obviously one of the second biggest crypto in the world. So far, this bull cycle is peaked at highs of 4K, come back down as well. And Ethereum's had a lot of development. Ethereum was the very first smart contract platform. It was founded by Vitalik Buterin, along with some of the co-founders being like Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Wood, people that have gone on to create their own projects that have done very, very well. But Vitalik Buterin is still, the main guy at Ethereum, while many others kind of moved on, created their own projects. Ethereum itself went through a lot in its first few years. There was an exploit which ended up resulting in Ethereum having to go through kind of a hard fork, where Ethereum Classic is actually the original Ethereum, and Ethereum is the one that Vitalik stayed with to push on. But yeah, they had 8 co-founders. Vitalik, as I said, Gavin Wood. You had Anthony DiLorio, who underwrote the project, Charles Hoskinson, Mihai Alisli, not sure, I've definitely butchered that name, Joseph Lubin, and Amir Chetrit. Now, obviously, Joseph Lubin founded Consensus. So really, a huge amount of success from a lot of these developers. And they've gone through tons of different developments. They moved from proof of work to proof of stake. There's not, I can go through all of the litany of the history of Ethereum, but realistically, I think everyone at this point knows what Ethereum is. It's the biggest layer 1 in all of crypto. Vitalik. So he's proposed simplifying Ethereum's L1 for long-term resilience. So his simplification plan aims to reduce the complexity of the protocol. It will improve scalability, security, and long-term resilience. He advocates replacing Ethereum's Ethereum virtual machine with RISC-V or V to simplify execution, improve performance by 100 times, and cut down unnecessary precompiles. So by standardizing erasure codes, serialization, and tree structures, his plan ensures a unified, streamlined Ethereum architecture for improved efficiency. Now, what would be very interesting here is what does the resulting improvements, what kind of impact does that have on layer 2s? Charles Hoskinson's often referred to the layer 2s within Ethereum as parasites. And it becomes quite an interesting thing, because if all of a sudden Ethereum is 100 times faster, maybe even, 100 times cheaper, there is no longer a need for a lot of the layer 2s. So that there's an interesting possible ramification here. But I suppose the other thing is if the layer 2s can still improve upon the architecture of layer 1 of the Ethereum's layer 1, maybe you've got 1,000 times the throughput, 1,000 times as cheap, So the proposed 3-slot finality system for Ethereum's consensus layer replaces a few complex mechanisms like epochs and sync committees. So it should reduce the validator load. It should simplify the fork choice rule. It should allow for the retaining of robust security features. And it can be done with about 200 lines of code, which makes it far, far easier to maintain. So the post appears on CryptoFront News. So you can have a look in depth at it. Although he did obviously do it as a blog post as well. So very, very interesting if this is to come to fruition. Now, time frame would be the real query on this one. But make no mistake about it. Look, Ethereum is going nowhere. It's the single biggest ecosystem in all of crypto. If we see this development, I think, again, it's highly likely we're going to see huge, huge surges in investment. Don't forget, Ethereum has its own ETF, and while money flow into Ethereum's ETF has been a fraction of what Bitcoin's seen, as you would expect, I still don't think they've started really kicking on. I think the Ethereum ETF is inevitably going to have a lot of success down the line. And with Ethereum's current price, I mean, without question, undervalued. It's interesting that we've stopped all conversations about the Ethereum flippening have stopped now. No one is of the belief, or no one seems to be of the belief anymore that Ethereum's going to overtake Bitcoin. Maybe it does one day, but I don't think we're there at all now, or certainly not in the next 4 or 5 years. I think the Bitcoin exposure is so enormous with BlackRock and everyone else. I think it would take a very long time for Ethereum to ever flip. But I don't think we're going to see Ethereum hit the $1 trillion this year. And to do that, the bare minimum it needs to hit is around $8,000. I think there's absolutely a world where we see Ethereum hit 5 figures. Ethereum is the most well-known crypto outside of Bitcoin. Many people, many retail investors will look at Bitcoin and go, can't really own it, can't own a whole one, but they can own a whole Ethereum. And I think a lot of investors will end up buying Ethereum because they want crypto exposure and they want to own a whole crypto rather than a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. And I think that buying surge will inevitably happen. When it does, as I said, I think we're inevitably going to see Ethereum start tackling new heights. New all-time high isn't going to be particularly challenging to get to from where it is right now. $1 trillion mark obviously is, because that requires a huge amount of money to come in. But inevitably, watch the whales. Watch the whales. Watch the BlackRocks. Watch the biggest holders and how they're behaving, because they always accumulate before everyone else. So if you start to see huge surges in accumulation for Ethereum, which we are seeing, then price is going to follow relatively quickly. I still think Ethereum legitimately has a shot of 8,000 to 12, that kind of range. I don't think we're going to see much more than that. But yeah, the 5 figures I think is definitely a big possibility this year. And those early investors in Ethereum back in like 2016 and so on, if they're still holding, have done very, very well. Now, guys, we are really close to the 90,000 subscriber mark. Help me get over that threshold. Just subscribe to the channel, like the video while you're at it. And let me know, what do you think Ethereum can hit this year? Is there any particular crypto right now that's a layer 1 that you think is going to be rivaling that top 5 mark that isn't there yet? Any layer 1 out there that you think can crack the top 5 market cap cryptos in the next few years? If there is, tell me which one in the comments and explain why you think that. Let me know all in the comments. And guys, look, we're in a bull cycle right now, and if you're not happy with the cryptos you own, or you don't own any cryptos, jump onto copymycrypto.com and have a look through the site. On the site, you will be able to see some of the profits my members made. You'll be able to see some of my past successes, which are all public record on the history of this channel. On the site, I share every single coin I own with my members. Whenever I am ready to buy or sell any coin, I tell my members the coin that I'm going to be buying or selling, the price that I'm going to be buying or selling at. So all my members know the coins I own. They know when I'm getting in and out of a crypto. They know the price. So they can copy along, make the exact same profit as me. Added bonuses, of course, they have no work to do. And if this sounds good to you, making the investments without doing any of the work, all you've got to do is have a read of the site. And if you like what you see and you want to find out the cryptos I think are going to be the big winners of this bull cycle, all you've got to do to find out about any of them is join up on the site. And if you do, I'll see you there. Otherwise, folks, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.